Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Mr. Almighty Lewis back at you with another video. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about why assumptions and assuming things about the person that you may find yourself in a relationship with. And I don't mean just a romantic relationship, but I mean a friendship, I mean a family relationship, I mean a relationship with your boss, with your employee, any sort of relationship. Anytime you assume something about that other individual, you are in risk. You're putting that relationship at risk, and it's probably gonna deteriorate and end sometime in the future, very soon future. All right, so if you're watching this and you want to put an end to this and you don't want that relationship to go down the hole, then you better watch this video, because I'm going to explain to you why assuming things about the other person is not good and what to do instead of assuming things. So if you still haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching this video on YouTube. If you're watching on Instagram, make sure you follow me. And if you want to check out my YouTube channel, there will be a link in my bio so you guys can go ahead and check out my entire YouTube channel. Anyway guys, let's go ahead and get started with today's video. So assumptions, they are like a poison to relationships. They are the poison. And if you continue to assume things about the other person, you're gonna poison them and they're gonna leave. I mean, they're not gonna die, but the relationship is gonna die. So if you don't want this, then here's the thing. First thing to note, you have to stop assuming things about the other person and understand why you're even doing this to begin with. All right, so first of all, one of the reasons why people like to assume things is because for egoistic reasons. Their ego is just taking over them. They feel so entitled to their own beliefs, and they're so egoistic that they believe they know everything, including that they know everything about the other person. So they just assume that the other person is a certain way, and because of that, they start to treat the other person based on that assumption that they made of that person. And this is detrimental. Like, maybe you as a doer, you as the one who's assuming things about the other individual, you don't notice that you're doing this, and possibly the other person doesn't realize it either, because it requires some level of awareness in order to be able to notice these type of things. But it's crazy, man. Like, I myself have been on both sides of the equation here. So I've been the one to assume things about other people, and then my relationships, just out of nowhere, they just pop. The other person just pops out of nowhere. And this is really what ends up happening sometimes, is when the other person just pops and they're like, you know what, I can't stand you anymore. You're annoying, you're this, you're that, you did this to me, you did that to me. And if you want to avoid people popping on you, you better continue watching this video, because that's exactly what's going to happen if you continue to assume things about the other person. Eventually they're going to pop and they're going to bounce. And so yeah, and I can say the same thing for the other side. I've been on the other side of the equation. I recently had a friend. She continued to assume things about me. Like, she would think like I was some sort of like I would be that guy that you can send to go do this and to go do that. I mean, I understand if you have friends who are like that, who are willing to do stuff for you all the time and stuff, and yeah, but stuff like that. But it's crazy. Like, you cannot assume things like that. Me on the receiving end, I felt pretty offended. I felt pretty disrespected, and at the same time, I did not feel understood. Meaning that at that point, the connection starts to break off massively. And if it's someone, obviously, I have some certain level of awareness already. The relationship's going to end even faster, because the person's already going to notice what is going on very soon, early in the relationship. So do not assume under any circumstances. All right. So if you're the doer here, you're the one who's constantly assuming things, or you feel like you're the one who's constantly assuming things, really ask yourself, are your assumptions really true? Are they facts? Like, if you're about to, assume things about the other person and judge them based on those assumptions, like, are you sure about that? Do you have facts? Really think about it. Like, do you have facts? Do you have proof that they are a certain way? because for the most part, if you're assuming, you don't have those facts, or you're making them up in your head. You're using your imagination and your creativity to imagine that the other person is a certain way when in fact they're not. And so in this case, what you want to do is you want to ask questions. If you want to stop assuming stuff and you want to get to the facts, you actually want to know the person, then you start to ask questions. Of course, you're going to start asking questions assuming that you actually want this relationship to move forward, all right? If you reach the conclusion that, hey, you know what, I've been assuming things about this other individual, and the reason why I've been assuming is because I don't really care about this individual, and I'm just, being lazy with my interpretation of who they are, then break it off. Easy as that. Just break it off. Just go and tell the other person, you know what? This relationship cannot go on. I just don't see how we fit each other. And you know what? I think it's best for the two of us to just go our own ways, But if you really care about this person and you want to actually, continue to invest time, energy, resources, and so on and so forth with this other person, and you want this relationship to actually, move forward and grow and nourish itself, then you're going to have to start asking questions. Start asking questions. And here's the thing. Here's the thing about asking questions. So a lot of people don't like to ask other people questions because they feel like they're not going to get a response, from the other person. And of course, you're not going to get a fucking response. Like, what the fuck are you thinking? If you've been assuming things about this other person, this other person, to some degree, they might already feel some uncomfort with you. To some degree, whether it's conscious or unconscious, they already are starting to feel a little bit like, I don't know about this person, like there's something like off about, every time I'm with them, there's a certain feeling I feel inside of me. Like I just feel like I'm just not myself, like this person is taking me to another like perspective, another world, somewhere where I have to be a little bit different now in order for us to even connect. And this is what your assumptions create. If you're so strong with your assumptions and you go to the other person and you start to assume things about the other person, what you're doing is that you're establishing a frame onto the other person, and the stronger you are at establishing that frame onto the other person, the other person, if they're not, like I said, if they don't have that high sense of awareness, they won't realize what's going on. And so if they can't realize that that's what's going on, the frame that you're inputting onto them because of your assumptions is going to be so strong that they're going to start to believe that frame. But the thing is that that's not who they are. So while that frame may be active when they're around you, that frame will drop off once once you guys go your ways. Maybe you guys are in a hangout and, your frame of their assumption, the things you're assuming of them, that frame, it's imposed onto them and it's lasting while you guys are hanging out. But once the hangout is over and they go back to their normal day, they're gonna realize, like, what the hell was I doing? Like, what am I doing in that relationship? Like, what's going on? Like, something's not right there. Like, I'm behaving very differently. I feel like I just feel like doing these things here and there, and they don't even understand what's going on. And so the thing is that like I said, there's an uncomfort already built because of that. And so when you start asking questions after you've been assuming all this time, of course it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult because that other person is already kind of feeling like, hey, you know what, a little bit of uncomfort, a little bit of insecurity around you. So, if those things are not established, then there's no way this other person is going to get vulnerable with you and actually open up about the truth of how they actually feel and who they actually are. So this is why you shouldn't even assume things right from the start, because you start to create this uncomfort in the other person, which makes it difficult now for the other person to open up. And the more you assume, the harder it's going to be for you to actually get to know that person, like who they actually are, in order to get to the truth. So just realize if you've been assuming, it's going to take some time. You got to rebuild that comfort. You got to rebuild that trust. And the way you really do that is by stop assuming things. Just stop assuming. don't ask questions yet. Just start assuming things and just start to experience the other person for who they really are. You don't have to ask any questions. Just observe these people, and stop trying to impose your assumptions on them, because like I said, it's a very, very lazy move, for somebody who doesn't actually want to get to know the other person. It's very easy to just assume things about the other person. It's very easy to just take little bits and bytes about the other person based on their behavior and already create something, an assumption off of that, and judge them accordingly, like based on your assumptions. That's very hard to do. I can actually do that, but that's for another video here. That's called identity building, but that's a bit more complex, and that's like a very more advanced personal development sort of skill there to master. Like I said, I've been in personal development for a number of years now. So me being able to construct an identity based on actions and based on, what I'm observing and based on words and stuff like that, that is possible. But that's, like I said, it's quite advanced. But for now, assuming you're not that person, here I go, I'm assuming things. But the reason why I'm assuming right here is because I actually don't have my viewer right here in front of me. So, but I am making this video for those people who are assuming. So, like I said, I'm gonna assume that you're the type of person who likes to assume things about someone else. All right. Actually, if I had you in person here, then I probably wouldn't even be delivering this content to you if I knew that you weren't that type of person. But right now, I'm making this video specifically for those who do assume. So do not assume. Like I said, it is poison. It is dangerous. It is not good for the relationship. It is not good for anybody. All right. It's not good for you. It's not good for the other individual. You always want to get to the core of who they actually are. All right. And you got to put this egoistic thing on the side. You do not control the world. You do not control people. And, you're not this little special snowflake in the world. You gotta understand that. Like, most egoistic people think that the world revolves around them and that they're the shit and that they're like the best person in the world and stuff like that. And to some certain degree, you can believe these things just to like pump yourself up and stuff like that. I personally hate that type of shit. I can feel pretty pumped, pretty positive without having to tell myself that I'm the shit and that I'm like cool and all this shit, like, what the fuck? Like, I don't fucking need that shit, like, I already know. And the reason why I don't have to do that is because to some degree I feel like that's some like bullshit you gotta tell yourself, because to compensate for actually not being good. Like, I myself, I know I'm good. I put in the hard work. I'm a pretty hard worker, and I do my shit. I do my deeds every single day. So I don't need that reinforcement that, oh, I'm the shit. I'm fucking cool. I'm fucking bomb. Yeah, my Lewis and shit. If people want to praise me, that's cool. I mean, I'm not asking for it, but if you want to, that's perfectly fine. That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna say no to it, but I don't need it. Like, I know I'm putting in the work, and I know what I'm doing for my people here, for my viewers, and that's all I really care about. So, yeah. So, don't assume shit, all right? Don't assume, ask questions, and really get to the core of that person, all right? It's gonna make your relationship, grow exponentially, and it's gonna prevent it from stepping into that risky area. This is just one of the things that can make a relationship, step into that risky territory where, it's gonna end most likely, so like, just by doing this, you're already putting yourself more on the safe side. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope you guys understood why assuming things about another individual can really destroy a relationship. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, and I'll make sure to answer them. And if you have a suggestion for a video that you want me to make, please leave it down below as well, whether that's on YouTube or Instagram. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification icon so that you don't miss any future videos that I post. And yeah, I mean, thank you very much for watching. There should be some videos here, suggested videos, so you guys can go ahead and, watch more of my content, because it's going to be cool. All right, so I'll catch you guys in the next video.